In this video, you're going to learn how men test your value, which is really important because high value men, who are typically men who are being pursued by multiple women, they're seen in high regard by women in their social circle and nearby, they're going to want to connect with and are most attracted to women of equal or greater value. Initially, they're going to be testing you, and so if you can ace these 3 tests that I'm going to go over, then it'll give you a much better chance of actually getting to know the guy, because first impressions are so important in determining and communicating your value to a man that it is important to learn these 3 ways that men are evaluating you so you can come across as extremely high value like the woman I know you are. Now, I'm Jason Silver, and this is Attract Great Guys, where every week we go through different dating strategies and principles and perspectives from the male point of view that can help you to catch a real great high-value man for a committed relationship. If you haven't done so already, hit the red subscribe button so you get notified of all my videos, and let's jump into this week's topic. Now, the first test is the aesthetic test. I don't need to tell you that men are visual, but this is really the first thing that a guy is looking for in terms of your overall vibe, your vibrance. He's going to be able to see that. And the way that he's going to do that is primarily through how healthy and vibrant and energetic you look. From an evolutionary standpoint, men are looking for health, for virility. And if you can show him that by having fresh hair that you've done, that you're dressed in a way that makes you feel confident and your body language is confident, these are all things that show that you're thriving and you're growing and you're confident versus someone who is more fearful and maybe declining in their social status and feels that way. So this is actually extremely important, and it's something that you don't have to be a supermodel to pass. It really just means, do you feel put together? And you and I both know there's a huge difference between when we go out and we feel great about how we're dressed and how we're put together and that we showered and we did our hair, versus if we just roll out of bed. And the level of confidence, the energy, that whole vibe is so much more important to a man because of how visual men are. And I know it's important to women as well, but if you're trying to snag a high value man, it's important to go out and be in the world wearing your supermodel costume, the clothes and the appearance that make you feel your most confident. If you could do that, which is, something that you can influence, you'll be ahead of 99% of other women out there that don't feel that same level of confidence. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go out into the world in this, incredible dress where you look so much different than everyone else. It's not about that. It's about looking your best. So if you're going somewhere and everyone's going to be dressed a certain way, what do you need to wear to feel like 10% sexier than what the average is wearing, or 10% more attractive? Think about that. Think about what is going to make you feel like you stand out, because that is really passing the aesthetic test and making sure that your initial vibe is one of health and vibrance and beauty. At the end of the day, if you're going to carry a message to other people that you are a high value woman, then your packaging is important. How you carry yourself and how you communicate through your appearance, it's very important in today's society. So that is the first test that you can pass. The second test is the assertiveness test. Now, this really is just evaluates how much you're willing to stand your own ground and hold your own perspective. And I dare say that this is probably the most important test for you to pass initially right up front, because it's going to show how much a man can lead you and how compliant and submissive you are to him, regardless of whether he deserves it or not. And most men will use this test to see how quickly they can sleep with you. And they'll keep on escalating sexually until either they sleep with you or you're assertive enough to draw a boundary. And the key here is you want to be assertive from the get-go. You never want them to be able to push the button and you give them the benefit of the doubt, because that is setting a baseline of respect. And the assertiveness test, if you pass it and pass it well, this is where you train a man how to treat you. And you do that by rewarding him for when he does things that you appreciate, and for letting him know, for correcting him when he does something that you don't like. For example, if he escalates too quickly, if he says a sarcastic joke that's not nice, if he doesn't do something chivalrous or respectful, anything that you can let him know that you don't like, you kind of want to do that in the beginning, unless you're someone who's just nexting everyone and people tell you that you've got too high of standards, in which case maybe you're a little bit too assertive, in which case you can try to find that little bit of appreciation and patience and tolerance. But, for the most part, if you find that men are using you or you're getting into relationships where men aren't treating you the way you deserve to be treated, then you probably failed the assertiveness test, and this is really important for you to be aware of so you can pass it in all future relationships. Now, the third test is the competition test, and this is when a man tries to dig and figure out who else is pursuing this woman. Guys typically know when there's a real high-value woman, then other men are pursuing her, or she's got a lot of orbiters around her, guys that are kind of orbiting on a friendship level, but the moment that she would say yes to any of these guys, in a heartbeat, they would be with this woman. So most men know that the highest value women, the women that they would put on a pedestal, those women have other men pursuing them, period. And so if a guy is dating you, he's going to want to know who's pursuing, how many men are pursuing, how aggressive are these guys. He's trying to understand from a safety perspective, but also he's kind of measuring you up, right? How in demand are you? Now, by no means am I telling you that you should lie to anyone and tell a guy that you're being pursued by 30 men. The highest value women, they don't talk to men about all the orbiters. They kind of play it off. They say, oh, no, they're just a friend. And maybe this woman actually thinks that they're just friends, but in the back of her mind, she knows that if she ever said yes, the guy in a heartbeat would be with her. So you don't want to straight up lie to a guy and say, yes, I have a bunch of people pursuing me and I have a boyfriend here and a side guy here. No, that's not the point. The point is that you don't want to make clear to a man that there's no other men pursuing you and that he's the only guy and that you're totally invested in him. You always want him to think that there's another guy around the corner, and if he doesn't treat you in the way that you deserve to be treated, boom, you'll be gone in an instant. And he shouldn't just think that. That should be true. And if you don't have another guy around the corner, then you should still have those same standards where I'm going to be out in an instant if you do something that's disrespectful. That's the best leverage that you have to show your value. It's not only if there's guys orbiting around you, that's not the best indicator of a high-value woman, because quite frankly, a woman might have a bunch of orbiters and she might end up with the lowest value man there is if she doesn't truly value herself. And that's why it's so important for you to pass the test by not letting him know that there's no other men and by keeping your standards high, where you literally need to act like you've got a bunch of men pursuing you, and that if he does anything that's at all disrespectful that you don't deserve, boom, you're out. And that's the mindset that you have to have. And if you don't have a bunch of men, then it's your time to go out and meet more men, period. If you spend any amount of time tolerating any less than you deserve, that's only going to affect your own self-esteem moving forward. It certainly isn't going to lead into any healthy, happy relationship if you're doing that from, the get-go with a man. Now, we just went through the 3 ways men test a woman's value, but there's an even more important point here that connects to all 3 of these tests that you learned about. It's this: why are men testing your value? And the answer is that high-quality men, they've got very high standards for the women they date. And contrary to popular belief, high-quality men, they've got different traits and qualities and values that they're looking for in a potential life partner. That's why if you want to date a high-quality man, not just an average Joe, then you need to approach dating differently. How differently? Well, while studying attraction and relationship dynamics over the past few years, I noticed that there's one specific secret dating strategy that's quietly used by the most desirable women in the world to attract a perfect man. And I've noticed that the women who follow this secret dating strategy tend to have a much easier time getting a great guy. In fact, I became so interested in this secret dating strategy that I recently made a whole free training video about it, which you can view by clicking the link in the description. The free training video is going to teach you how you can follow this little-known strategy and become a woman who's more desirable than anyone else to a truly high-quality man. You'll also hear about my new flagship coaching program that I'm proud to announce here on YouTube for the very first time ever, called Unleash the Queen Within. And as far as I know, no one else in the world is offering a coaching program quite like this, where you can get personal one-on-one coaching calls. So you should definitely see if you qualify to enroll. Currently, the program is very exclusive. It's available by application only, and we're only able to enroll about 40 women at a time. So there's not many slots available. But if you think you'd be a good fit for the program, I definitely check it out right now by clicking the link below this video. And don't wait. I'm going to see you over there. Have a great day.